Okay, I wrote about this on my blog, but I'm echoing it here because it's just ridiculous. This past weekend, I almost managed to destroy a week's worth of work on my current novel. And the whole way this happened was a flying circus from top to bottom. See, I have this automatic backup process, and it runs nightly. It makes a mirror of all the contents of my writing directory to another drive. And the writing directory also gets synchronized periodically to my laptop and to a thumb drive and a couple of other places. But it's that second backup drive that's really the main target for everything. Now, somehow, and I'm going to save how this happened for the end of this because it's funny, I ended up opening the backup copy of my novel, and I started doing work on it a few days ago, and I left it open. So what happened was I had this document open. Nightly, the backup process would run and would silently overwrite it. But the opened version of the document, which is opened in a temporary file, would still remain as is. It still had all of my changes and everything in it. So when I discovered what was going on, I got kind of annoyed with myself and I said, okay, I'm just going to take all of the stuff from the backup, which is where my changes have been, and put it in the proper place. I closed everything, and I didn't even think twice about doing this because it said on every window of Word that everything had been saved. So I closed everything, I reopened everything, and all of my changes had evaporated. Last 3 days worth of work, poof, gone. So I spent about 10 minutes feeling sorry for myself, and then I said, now, wait a minute. There's a chance, a slender chance, but a chance all the same, that all of the changes that I've been making have been saved into a temporary file that may still be recoverable on that backup drive. So I went to my notebook and I got a copy of a recovery program called Piriform Recuva. I'm not being paid in any way, shape, or form to talk about this program, by the way. I'm just saying this program saved my butt, and it can probably save yours too. I put that on a thumb drive. I took it back to my main system. I ran that, and within about 2 minutes, it found not just one, but two copies of the file that I had been working on. One slightly older, and a second one that was current up to the moment when I closed the file. In other words, I lost nothing. So I declared victory, and I made proper copies of everything. I moved everything back into their correct places. I made backups of everything, and then I took a drink, and I took the rest of the day off. Okay, I lied about the drink. I don't drink. The whole reason this happened in the first place was because I remember distinctly now, a couple of days ago, I opened the backup copy to see what the word count was so I could compare it against the end of session word count for the current document. I just forgot to close them both. So when I came back to the system next time and sat down and blearily started working on the document again, I have started working on the backup copy, and that's how this whole mess started in the first place. So that taught me another lesson. Don't open the backup copies unless you absolutely have to, and when you do, close them again. Now, the total number of times that I've actually lost anything in the entire time that I've been writing, I could probably count on one hand, and I'd have fingers left over, and even then it wasn't fatal. Back when I was working on the draft of Summerworld, which was the first book that I've published under the Infinimata label, I was using a machine that was at the time running the beta release of Windows 7 on it. Now, this was the only computer I had, and I was using it to write articles about the operating system for my day job, so please don't judge me too harshly. And in the middle of typing a sentence, the entire system hung hard. Did not crash, did not BSOD. It hung. I strongly suspect a buggy video driver was at fault. Now, I had no idea when the last autosave of the file had taken place, so I was panicking. And then I said, well, I might be able to work out an answer. I dug out a little digital video camera that I had. I took a picture of the screen, and I pushed the reset button on the PC and went back to find out what I'd left off. And to my amazement, I had only lost maybe a couple of paragraphs tops, all of which were easily retyped. So upshot is make backups and don't confuse them with the originals under any circumstances. This is not a hard rule. Really, it's not a hard rule. Anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd toss this in for you. See you around.